The rain fell hard the night he realized nobody was coming back for him. The same friends who had once shouted his name in crowded clubs now walked past him like he didn't exist. His phone was dead, his pockets were empty, his stomach burned with hunger, and as he sat alone beside a filthy pig pen, the words he once proudly spoke began to haunt him. Father, give me my share of the inheritance. That decision destroyed everything. Weeks earlier, the young man had stood inside his father's house with anger in his eyes and greed in his heart. I don't want this life anymore, he said coldly. I want my freedom. His father looked at him in silence. The room felt heavy. The older servants lowered their heads, shocked by the disrespect. In those days, asking for an inheritance earlier was like saying, I wish you were dead. But the father still loved his son. So with trembling hands, he gave him what he asked for. The son grabbed the money and walked away without looking back. At first, the world felt beautiful. Bright city lights, expensive clothes, endless parties. People surrounded him everywhere he went. You were living the life, one friend laughed as music blasted through the night. The young man smiled proudly. For the first time, he felt powerful. No rules, no father, no limits, just pleasure, just freedom. Also, he thought. The money disappeared faster than he expected. One bad decision became another. Luxury became addiction. Pleasures became emptiness. Then disaster came. A famine hit the land. Jobs disappeared. Food became expensive. And suddenly, the young man who once spent money carelessly couldn't even afford bread. He turned to the same friends who once celebrated him. Please, can you help me? But nobody answered. One slammed the door in his face, another pretended not to know him, and just like that, he became invincible. Days later, he found himself feeding pigs on a dirty farm. Mud covered his clothes. The smell was unbearable. His hands trembled from hunger as he watched the pigs eat better food than he had. Tears rolled his face. How did I How did my life become like this? He whispered. For the first time, he saw the truth. His greed had blinded him. His pride had ruined him. He traded love for temporary pressure and lost everything. That night, sitting alone in the cold darkness, memories of home flooded his mind. He remembered his father. He remembered his father waiting at the dining table. He remembered the warmth of his bed. He remembered the kindness he once ignored, and suddenly shame crushed him. I am not worthy to be called a son anymore, he cried. The fear inside him was overwhelming. What if his father rejected him? What if the door was closed forever? What if forgiveness no longer existed for someone who failed this badly? He buried his face in his hands. But then something changed, a tiny spark of hope. Slowly he stood his feet. I will go back, he said softly. Even if I must live as a servant, I will go home. The journey back home felt longer than ever before. Every step carried regret. Every mile reminded him of his failure. His heart pounded as his father's house finally appeared in the distance. He stopped walking. Fear froze him. What if he hates me now? But before he could turn around, something unexpected happened. A man came running down the road. It was his father. The old man ran with tears streaming down his face. The son collapsed to his knees. Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you, he cried. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father didn't let him finish. He wrapped his arms around him tightly. My son was lost, the father wept, and now he is found. The broken son expected punishment. Instead, he received overwhelming love. The son who wasted everything, the son who abandoned his father, was welcomed home like family again because the father never stopped waiting for him. Not even one, not even for one day. The modern world still creates prodigal sons every day. People chase money, pleasure, status, and freedom, believing those things will heal the emptiness inside them. But many end up lonely, ashamed, and broken, wondering how they got so far from peace. The story of the prodigal son reminds us that failure is not the end. No matter how far someone runs, no matter how badly they fall, there is still hope for the person willing to come home because real love doesn't stop waiting.